It started as an ordinary Thursday night, the kind you barely remember the next day, the kind that should have ended with a text saying, "Made it home safe," but that text never came. At 7:02 p.m., 29-year-old Leah Morgan smiled at the bartender, ordered her favorite cranberry vodka, and said she wouldn't be long. At 9:27, she walked out the front door of Rusty's Tavern under the flicker of a dying neon sign. By 9:46, her phone went silent forever. Her car was found hours later, parked neatly beneath a buzzing streetlight, driver's seat empty, purse gone. 2 days after that, hikers discovered something wrapped in tarp by a drainage ravine 11 miles north. And just like that, a woman who lived her life carefully, kindly, vanished between two camera frames. Friends said she was cautious. She met him in public. She told people where she was going. She did everything right. But predators count on that, because sometimes evil doesn't kick down the door. Sometimes it sits across from you, smiles, and says, "Just one drink." This is the story of a night that began with trust and ended with a silence no one could explain. Leah Morgan was the kind of person who made life feel lighter. Born on March 11, 1994, she grew up in the quiet suburb of Brookhaven, Illinois, about an hour west of Chicago. Her father, Paul, worked as an electrician, and her mother, Janet, taught kindergarten. Leah was their youngest daughter, the one who left doodles on the fridge, remembered birthdays, and always stopped to feed stray cats behind the bakery on her walk home. Her friends said she had a warmth that drew people in. Leah had this calm energy, recalled her best friend, Amber Lee. She never liked attention, but when she smiled, everyone noticed. After high school, Leah attended Northern Illinois University, majoring in marketing. She wasn't loud or flashy, just quietly determined. She'd stay up late helping classmates edit presentations, then show up the next morning with coffee for everyone. Professors called her quietly unstoppable. By 2022, Leah was working as a project coordinator at a Chicago tech startup. The long commute didn't bother her. She liked watching the sunrise from the train. That year, she moved back home to help care for her mother after surgery and save for a down payment on her first condo. To everyone around her, Leah seemed steady rebuilding after a difficult chapter. Months earlier, she had left an emotionally abusive relationship, a man who'd chipped away at her confidence and isolated her from friends. She was healing, Amber said, careful about who she let in, but she still believed in people. That belief, sadly, would cost her everything. His name was Darren Cole, 34 years old, from nearby Naperville. Online, he looked harmless and confident even. His social media was full of selfies beside expensive cars and captions about success and discipline. But behind the filters was a pattern of failed businesses, restraining orders, and ex-girlfriends who had learned to stop talking. Leah and Darren had known each other years before, back in high school. He was a senior when she was a freshman, charismatic, popular, the kind of person who could charm a room in seconds. 15 years later, when his friend request popped up on Facebook, Leah hesitated. His first message read, "Hey stranger, saw you moved back to town. Drink soon?" She scrolled through his profile, the same confident grin, the same charm, and decided a drink couldn't hurt. "Maybe one," she wrote back. Amber still remembers their text exchange. She said, "It's just Darren. Remember him from Brookhaven High?" And I told her, "Be careful." She said, "Relax. We're meeting in public. What could go wrong?" At first, Darren seemed friendly enough. Their chats were casual old classmates, funny memories, light flirtation. But within days, his tone changed. He started sending dozens of messages, asking personal questions. "Where do you live? Do you miss being single? Can I stop by sometime?" He used affection as bait, Detective Aaron Walsh later said. Made her feel special. Then started testing control. Leah confided in her sister, Monica, saying Darren was nice but a little intense. When she didn't reply to him for a few hours, He'd send messages like, "Are you mad at me?" or "I thought you liked me." By early April, Darren suggested they meet to clear the air. He said he'd be in town for business and offered to buy her a drink at Rusty's Tavern on Main Street. Leah almost said no, but she'd always believed in giving people second chances. She told us, "One drink, then I'm going home," Monica recalled. She even sent us a photo denim jacket, blue blouse, hair curled. She looked so happy. That photo became the one printed on every missing poster in Brookhaven 2 days later. Rusty's Tavern was half empty when Leah walked in at 7:02 p.m. Surveillance footage showed her greeting the bartender, ordering her usual, and taking a seat by the wall. Darren arrived 7 minutes later. He looked relaxed, confident leather jacket, easy smile. For the first 2 hours, they seemed fine, laughing, talking, leaning in close. But at 9:14 p.m., Leah's body language shifted. She crossed her arms, pulled out her phone, avoided eye contact. At 9:17, she texted Amber, "He's being weird, leaving soon." At 9:27, she waved to the bartender, picked up her purse, and walked out. Darren followed 3 minutes later. Neither of them were seen on camera again. When Leah didn't come home that night, her parents assumed she'd stayed with a friend. But by morning, her car still sat outside the bar. Her phone went straight to voicemail. At 8:42 a.m., Janet walked into the police station and filed a missing person report. Detectives quickly retraced her steps. The bartender confirmed she wasn't drunk, maybe nervous, but sober. The parking lot showed no signs of struggle. But across the street, a security camera from Miller's Hardware captured a dark SUV pulling up beside her Honda Civic at 9:31 p.m. A figure matching Leah's build climbed into the passenger seat. The SUV drove away. The license plate couldn't be read. Within hours, the search for Leah expanded. Volunteers combed the woods near County Road 12. Flyers went up on lampposts. Friends launched a Facebook page. "Bring Leah home," Monica pleaded on television, her voice shaking. "She's not the kind of person who disappears. Please, if you know anything, say something." 3 days later, on April 21st, a hiker found Leah's purse in a ditch off Route 59, 11 miles north of the bar. Inside were her keys, lipstick, and a receipt from Rusty's Tavern. Her wallet and phone were missing. Phone records showed her last signal pinged near Brookhaven Industrial Park, a deserted complex on the town's outskirts, at 9:46 p.m. That's where investigators focused next. On the morning of April 24th, Officer Brian Keller followed fresh tire tracks behind an abandoned warehouse. They led to a shallow ravine lined with overgrown reeds. At 10:17 a.m., searchers found a single blue shoe, size 7. Minutes later, they uncovered a tarp partially buried in the mud. Inside was Leah. The coroner ruled cause of death as manual strangulation. Time of death, between 9:40 and 10 p.m. She had defensive wounds on her hands and arms, and under her fingernails, traces of male DNA. Detective Aaron Walsh led the case. Leah did everything right, she later said. She met in public, told her friends. She even texted updates. And still, he got her. Digital records revealed Darren had texted her 27 times the day of their meeting. The final message, sent at 9:45 p.m., read, "You shouldn't have embarrassed me." When officers questioned him, Darren appeared calm. He told them they'd parted ways around 9:30, that she was alive and fine. But they noticed fresh scratches on his forearms. He said they were from a stray cat. He refused a voluntary DNA swab. 2 days later, a court-ordered sample confirmed it. The DNA under Leah's nails matched Darren Cole. On April 28th, at 6:12 a.m., police surrounded his apartment and arrested him without incident. Inside, they found Leah's missing phone hidden in a shoebox and a notebook filled with handwritten rules for dating women. Control the narrative. If she pulls away, remind her what she owes you. never let her win the last word. Detectives also uncovered chilling internet searches. How long does DNA last in water? Industrial park camera blind spots, and signs she's seeing someone else. Further digging revealed a pattern. In 2018, a woman filed a restraining order after Darren stalked her for months. Another, in 2020, accused him of harassment before abruptly withdrawing the complaint. None of it ever reached trial. He was a textbook manipulator, said Dr. Amanda Price, a behavioral criminologist. Charming in public, controlling in private, he viewed rejection as humiliation. A truck driver's dash cam later captured a dark SUV pulling off the road near the industrial park around 9:40 p.m. The footage showed a figure matching Darren's build dragging something into the brush. That video became the cornerstone of the prosecution's case. The trial began in February 2024 at DuPage County Circuit Court, with Judge Marilyn Reyes presiding. Prosecutor Lauren Chase opened with words that froze the room. Leah Morgan trusted a familiar face. She believed she was meeting an old friend. Instead, she met the man who would end her life. For 3 weeks, jurors heard evidence of Darren's obsession, his controlling texts, his deleted messages, his internet searches. The defense claimed Leah left willingly, insisting Darren dropped her off and someone else killed her. But data from his phone placed him at the crime scene between 9:37 and 9:51 p.m. When he took the stand, his composure cracked. Prosecutor Chase leaned forward and asked, "If you had nothing to hide, why delete her number, wipe your SUV, and search how to destroy DNA?" He hesitated, then muttered, "I panicked." Gasps filled the courtroom. On March 12, 2024, the jury deliberated for just 5 hours before finding him guilty on all counts: first-degree murder, concealment of a body, and obstruction of justice. Judge Reyes sentenced him to life imprisonment without parole. Leah's mother faced him in court. "You took away our sunshine," she said, voice trembling. "I hope you see her face every time you close your eyes." As deputies led Darren away, he showed no emotion. The town of Brookhaven would never be the same. At Rusty's Tavern, a framed photo of Leah now hangs by the bar. Beneath it reads, "One drink, one night, one life too many." Her co-workers created the Leah Morgan Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to teaching digital age safety, how to recognize manipulation, document harassment, and report threats early. Police departments across Illinois began working with local businesses to create safe exit protocols for women leaving alone after dark. In June 2024, state legislators introduced Leah's Law, requiring dating platforms to flag accounts linked to verified reports of harassment or stalking. The bill passed unanimously. Monica stood beside the governor during the signing. "We can't change what happened," she said, "but we can make sure it never happens again." Every April, Leah's family and friends gather at Silver Creek Bridge, the place she was found. They bring candles, flowers, and paper cranes with handwritten messages. As dusk falls, they let the cranes drift down the water. Amber always reads the same poem aloud. "You trusted light, he brought darkness, but the stars still remember your name." Detective Walsh still keeps Leah's photo on her desk. "She reminds me why I do this," she says, "why we fight for those who can't speak." Leah's story became more than tragedy. It became a mirror, a reflection of how easily danger hides behind charm, how control can masquerade as care, and how silence allows predators to thrive. She did everything right. She met in public. She told her friends. She trusted her instincts. Yet caution wasn't enough against someone who saw kindness as opportunity. Leah Morgan wasn't naive. She was compassionate. She believed good people still existed, but some people don't want connection. They want control. And when control slips away, they destroy what they can't keep. Her story is a warning not about fear, but awareness. About trusting that inner voice that says, something's wrong. Because safety isn't paranoia, it's protection. Leah's life mattered. Her story matters. And the lessons she leaves behind could save someone else's. If this story moved you, share it. Leave a comment. You never know who might hear your words at the right moment. Subscribe to Evidence Uncovered for more stories that honor the victims, expose the truth, and remind us that behind every headline, there's a heartbeat. Because every heartbeat deserves to be heard.